It was supposed to be a simple night of basketball game, some snacks, a drive home. But what unfolded in the cold February night of 1978 would become one of the most disturbing and unexplainable disappearances in American history. 5 young men, known today as the Yuba County Five, would vanish into the darkness of the Sierra Nevada mountains, leaving behind a mystery riddled with fear, confusion, and chilling unanswered questions. As the last remnants of winter gripped the mountainous roads, no one could have imagined that this ordinary evening would mark the beginning of a nightmare. Months later, when the snow began to melt, the true horror of what had happened would be unearthed: bodies frozen, emaciated, and abandoned in a desolate forest, as if the land itself had swallowed them whole. What had led them there? Why had they ventured so far from home? And, most importantly, what had happened in the final moments of their tragic fate? The Yuba County Five. Who were they? The victims of this bizarre event were 5 young men, each with their own dreams, challenges, and close-knit friendships. They were Jack Madruga, 30, a quiet and responsible man. He was fiercely protective of his friends. He owned the car they traveled in that night, a 1969 Mercury Montego. Bill Sterling, 29, kind-hearted and deeply religious. He was known for his gentle nature and strong sense of morality. Jack Hitt, 24, the youngest of the group. He struggled with mild intellectual disabilities and relied heavily on the others for guidance. Ted Wires, 32, outgoing and humorous. He was often the life of the group. Gary Mathias, 25, a former US Army veteran. Gary had a history of schizophrenia but had been stable for years. Despite their challenges, these men shared a love for sports and an unbreakable bond. They were often seen together, supporting one another in their daily lives. The night they disappeared, they were on their way back from watching a basketball game at Chico State University, excited for their own upcoming tournament. But they would never make it home. The last sightings: a journey into the unknown. After leaving the game, the 5 friends stopped at a convenience store to pick up some snacks, candy bars, milk, and other small treats. This would be the last confirmed sighting of them alive. At some point during the night, instead of heading home, their car was found abandoned in a remote area of the Plumas National Forest, over 70 miles away from their intended route. The vehicle showed no signs of damage, and the gas tank was still half full. There was no logical reason for them to have taken this detour into the freezing wilderness. What had caused them to veer off course? Had they been chased? Had they panicked? Or had something more sinister happened? The discovery: a grim and baffling sight. Months later, as the snow melted, a series of gruesome discoveries would shed light on the final days of the Yuba County Five, yet at the same time, only deepen the mystery. Ted Wires' body was found first. He had perished inside a deserted Forest Service trailer, 19 miles away from the car. Wrapped in sheets, his feet were severely frostbitten, and he had lost nearly half his body weight. Yet, inside the trailer, there were ample supplies: matches, propane, food that could have lasted for months. But none of it had been properly used. Why hadn't he tried to survive longer? Why had he wrapped himself up to die instead? Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling were found next. Their bodies were discovered several miles from the car, seemingly having collapsed from exhaustion in the freezing cold. Their deaths suggested they had been trying to make it back to civilization. But why would they have abandoned the relative safety of the vehicle? Jack Hewitt's bones were scattered nearby. Only fragments of his remains were found, as if something or someone had disrupted his resting place. Gary Mathias was never found. Only his shoes were discovered near the trailer, but no trace of his body was ever recovered. Did he escape, or did he suffer a fate even worse than the others? The theories: what really happened? Over the years, numerous theories have emerged attempting to explain the horrifying end of the Yuba County Five. Accidental misadventure. Some believe that the men simply got lost, and in their confusion and desperation, succumbed to the elements. But this doesn't explain why they abandoned the working car or failed to use the resources in the trailer. Psychotic breakdown. Others speculate that Gary Mathias, who had a history of schizophrenia, may have suffered a psychotic episode, leading the group into a series of irrational and fatal decisions. However, there is no concrete evidence to support this claim. Foul play. The most chilling theory suggests that they encountered someone or something out in the wilderness. Had they been chased? Were they hiding from an unknown threat? Could they have witnessed something they weren't supposed to see? Paranormal explanations. Though far-fetched, some even believe that supernatural forces were at play. The eerie location, the unexplained behaviors, and the sheer strangeness of the case have led some to theorize about entities beyond human comprehension. The unanswered question's a mystery that refuses to die. Even decades later, the Yuba County Five case continues to haunt investigators and true crime enthusiasts alike. Why did they drive so far off course? What happened during the hours between the basketball game and their final, doomed journey into the wilderness? Why did they abandon the supplies that could have saved them? And what really happened to Gary Mathias? No answers have ever been found, and perhaps they never will be. But the story of the Yuba County Five remains one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries of modern history, a tale of friendship, fear, and a fate worse than the freezing cold itself. The conclusion, a legacy of fear. To this day, the Yuba County Five case serves as a grim reminder of how quickly the ordinary can turn into the unexplainable. Their story, shrouded in confusion and darkness, continues to send shivers down the spines of those who dare to look into the abyss. The mountains still stand, silent witnesses to their fate. Somewhere, buried beneath layers of time and snow, the truth waits cold, cruel, and forever out of reach.